This is Shakespeare's Sonnet 35. No more be grieved at that which thou hast done. Roses have thorns and silver fountains mud. Clouds and eclipses stain both moon and sun. And lonesome canker lives in sweetest bud. All men make faults, and even I in this, authorizing thy trespass with compare. Myself corrupting, sounding thy amiss, excusing thy sins more than thy sins are. For to thy sensual fault I bring in sense. Thy adverse party is thy advocate, and against myself a lawful plea commence. Such civil wars in my love and hate, that I necessary needs must be to that sweet thief withdraws from me. And the second piece is, for those of you that know Alice in Wonderland, this is Lewis Carroll. You are old, Father William, the young man said, and your hair has become very white. And yet you incessantly stand on your head. Do you think that your hatred is right?
In my youth,
Father William replied to his son,
I feared it might injure the brain. But now that I'm perfectly sure I have none, why I do it again and again.
You are old, said the youth, as I mentioned before, and you've grown most uncommonly fat. Yet you turned a back somersault in at that door. Pray, what is the reason of that?
In my youth, said the sage, as he shook his gray locks, I kept all my limbs very supple. By the use of this ointment, one shilling the box. Allow me to show you a couple?
You are old, said the youth, and your jaws are too weak for anything tougher than suet. Yet you finished the goose with the bones of the beak. Pray, how did you manage to do it?
In my youth, said his father, I took to the law and argued each case with my wife, and the muscular strength which it gave to my jaw has lasted the rest of my life.
You are old, said the youth, and one would hardly suppose that your eye was as steady as ever. Yet you balanced an eel on the end of your nose. What made you so awfully clever?
I have answered 3 questions, and that is enough, said the father. Don't give yourself airs. Do you think I can listen all day to such stuff? Be off, or I'll kick you downstairs.
And the third piece is Cannery Row by John Steinbeck. The tide goes out imperceptibly. The boulders show and seem to rise up, and the ocean pulses up and down. On the bottom lie the incredible refuse of the sea. Shells broken and chipped, and bits of skeleton, claws. The entire sea bottom, a fantastic cemetery on which the living scamper and scramble. Doc pulled on his rubber boots and set his rain hat fussily. He took his jars, his buckets, and his crowbar. He put his sandwiches in one pocket and his thermos bottle in another pocket. Then he went down the cliff towards the barrier edge. He worked down after the retreating sea. He used this crowbar to turn over the boulders, and from every now and then his hand quickly darted in the standing water and brought out a little angry, squirming octopus, which flushed with rage and spat ink on his hand. Then he would drop it into a jar of seawater with the others, and usually the newcomer was so angry that it attacked its fellows. It was good hunting that day. Doc had about what he wanted now. He had about 22 little octopi. He picked out several hundred sea cradles from the seafloor and put them in his wooden bucket. As the morning came and the sun arose, he followed the sea out towards the edge. The flat extended out 200 yards before there was a line of heavy, weed-crusted rocks. Then it dropped into deep water. Doc saw, between 2 floating weeds, a girl's face looking up at him. He parted the weed, and he saw that it was a pretty pale face of a girl with dark hair. He grew rigid. Then the face burned into his picture memory.